Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Jordan Hetrick, and I'm a longtime photographer and cinematographer with a passion for sharing my knowledge with you guys to help you get the best out of your action cameras. I'm also a best-selling author of books about how to use action cameras, including my latest book, which is for the Insta360 Ace Pro, which I'm about to show you all about. In this beginner's guide for the Insta360 Ace Pro, I'm excited to show you guys how to get your camera all set up and share some of my favorite tips and tricks so you can really get the most out of this camera. As I go through this video, you'll see all the features and some sample footage that I think will help you decide if this camera is right for you. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can stay tuned because I've got lots more videos coming. So let me teach you what you need to know to get started with the Insta360 Ace Pro Smart Action Camera. First, I just want to help you guys unbox the Insta360 Ace Pro and get it all set up so you can start filming with it. On the box, it shows you some of the key features of this camera, but I'm going to show you all the features of this camera and what comes in the kit as we unbox this and go through this video together. When you open up the box here, you've got the Insta360 Ace Pro Action Camera. And then you can also remove this little box that contains the accessories that come with your Insta360 Ace Pro. First, you can just remove the protective packaging. There's one on the front of the lens, one on the front display screen, there's also one on the back flip screen, and there's one on the bottom of the camera. So just remove all of those. Next, just open up this little box here and I'll show you the accessories that come with the Ace Pro. You can just pull all of the contents out of the box. You've got a little bit of paperwork, a quick start guide, a warranty card, and some stickers. This is the USB-C cable that you're going to use to charge your camera. The Ace Pro also comes with this adhesive mount here, which you can use to mount your camera, and this quick release, which makes it really easy to switch your camera between different mounts. But I'll show you those items when we go into the mounting section later in this video. So this here is Insta360's new smart action camera called the Ace Pro. Now that we've got the camera in box, I just want to show you a few of the key features of the Ace Pro so that you understand what makes this camera so special. Insta360 calls the Ace Pro a smart action camera because it's packed with tons of great features that are going to make it easier for you to film. First of all, it's got a 8K video resolution sensor, which is the highest video resolution sensor on any action camera yet. This is going to help you improve your 4K videos by adding features such as clarity zoom, which allows you to zoom in 2 times without losing video quality. On top of that 8K resolution sensor, you've also got 48 megapixel photos, which are just huge photo files. I love to take these and then you can crop in, really crop tight to get the composition that you're looking for. The Ace Pro also has a mode called Pure Video, which is for recording videos at night, and it's going to help you produce the highest quality videos in those low light settings. And you'll be pretty amazed. I'll show you some more of these as we go through the video. Plus, it's got this 2.4-inch flip screen, which makes it really easy for composing your selfie shots or for flipping it down when you're filming somebody else. It's packed with tons of smart features like gesture control and more things that I'll show you as we go through this camera. If you'd like to see a review of all of the new features on the Ace Pro, I'll put a link in the video description to a review I did for the Ace Pro so you can check that out. But I also think that watching this beginner's guide for the Ace Pro will also help you decide if the Ace Pro is the right camera for you, because you can see how it functions and see how you would actually use it. Also, because the Ace Pro is packed with so many great features, I always love to create a reference for you guys, and that's why I created the book for the Ace Pro. There's a link in the video description below, so if you decide to get the Ace Pro, I highly recommend you get that book. It's just going to help you with everything from setting up your camera all the way through recording and editing and creating some amazing photos and videos with the camera. Next, let me walk you through the setup so you can start using the Ace Pro. Go ahead and grab a microSD card. The Ace Pro doesn't come with a microSD card, so you're going to need to purchase one separately, and I'll put a link in the video description below to some recommended microSD cards, because it's really important that you pick a microSD card that is compatible with the Ace Pro so you don't have any freezing issues. The microSD card goes under this little door right here, and all you need to do is pull down on this little tab to open the door up. Make sure that you fully extend the door out so it'll open wide enough for you to get that microSD card in there, and that will really make it easier. Then just take the microSD card with the text on the front of the SD card facing the front of the camera like this, and insert the microSD card into this little slot here. Just make sure that it clicks all the way down into place. Next, grab that USB-C cable and plug it into the USB-C port. Plug the other end into a wall charger or a computer, but if you use a wall charger, you can do quick charging with the Ace Pro, and you can get the camera charged to 80% in just 22 minutes, and it'll be fully charged in about 45 minutes. Quick charging is a great feature, and that's just going to allow you to recharge those batteries a lot quicker so you can get out there and start filming again. Once the camera starts charging, you'll see this red light turn on, and that's going to indicate that your camera's charging. If you're familiar with action cameras, you might notice that we didn't insert the battery. That's because the battery was already inserted over here under this side door. But when you do want to switch out the batteries, you can just open up that side door, pull the battery out, and swap it with a fresh charged battery. After opening this door, just always make sure that you close it completely so that water doesn't leak in there if you take your camera in the water. Having that door completely closed is going to keep your camera waterproof. If you want to push pause while the camera charges, just go ahead and come back to this video once that light turns off. While the camera's charging, it'd be a great time to hit that like button on this video so that YouTube can also recommend it to other people like you who are getting started with their Insta360 Ace Pro. Thank you guys so much. Then you can remove the USB-C cable and close that side door also securely to make sure your camera is waterproof. Next, we're just going to power your camera on and set it up through the Insta360 app. Press the power button on the side of the camera here and your camera will power on. Then you can just select your language, scroll up or down to select your language, and tap the arrow to go to the next screen. Now it's going to prompt you to connect to the Insta360 app to update the camera's firmware. So you do need to use the Insta360 app to set your camera up initially, and after that it's optional, but it does add some great features such as a live view through your camera's lens and some other editing tools that are really useful. So go ahead and download the Insta360 app from the App Store for Google or Android and open it up. The Insta360 app should see your camera and prompt you to connect. You can just follow the prompts to connect your camera to the Insta360 app. And once you do, it's going to prompt you to update the camera's firmware. Updating the camera's firmware just makes sure that you have all the latest features for the Ace Pro. I recommend that you always update the camera's firmware when you're prompted. The update will transfer wirelessly from the phone over to your camera, and once it's complete, you'll be notified that the update is complete and your camera is ready to use. Next, I want to give you guys a camera tour around the Ace Pro to show you all the different buttons and the actual camera, but also to go inside and show you the different modes and settings and how you access all of those. So on the front of the camera here, we have a display screen which shows your video settings. It's not a touch screen, so you can't change your settings there, and it also doesn't display what you're videoing. But that's what this flip screen is used for. We've got the lens cover here that you want to keep clean. This is not removable on the Ace Pro. Insta360 also collaborated with Leica for the lens on this, so of course you're going to get some high quality optics with that Leica lens. On the top of the camera you got the shutter button, which is going to start and stop recording. On the side of the camera here you have the power button, which you use to turn on and off your camera. Hold it down for a couple seconds to turn your camera off, and your camera will power off. And this door we already opened, that's for the USB port and for the microSD card, and the battery door on this side. On the back of the camera, you have this 2.4-inch flip screen. When you're filming somebody else, you can just film it like this, and then you press these tabs in when you want to flip it up. Then you've got a nice big screen when you want to film those selfie shots. But it is a little bit inconvenient if you're filming, for example, like this, and then you want to rotate it around and film like this. All of a sudden you don't have a screen you can preview. You got to flip it up, just like that. Also, depending on the angles you're filming, you can rotate the screen so you can actually see the screen no matter which way your camera is facing. So I've really started to like that for some of the creative shots, like filming up at trees or sky, for example. You can just look at the screen. You don't have to get behind the camera and under it like you do with some of the other action cameras. On the bottom of the camera, you've got a magnet. You've also got these quick release latches, which I'll show you when we mount the camera, but that allows you to just quickly release and mount your camera to different mounts. There's also a speaker here, which is going to play back your audio on the bottom of the camera. And there's a few microphone openings, one here, and one on the top of the camera for great audio. I've also found the audio for the Ace Pro is really clean. It's got wind reduction, and you get some nice audio straight in the camera. Now let's turn the camera on and check out the touchscreen and the different modes and settings available on the Ace Pro. So if your camera's not on yet, just press the power mode button here and turn the camera on. Let's check out this touchscreen. So these icons on the main touchscreen tell you some of the key settings about the camera. You've got the battery life indicator here that shows how much battery life is remaining. This icon here just shows how much storage is left on your microSD card using the current settings and the current mode. So as you switch modes, that will change. Down here shows the mode that you're currently in and the main settings you're using for that mode. This is the clarity zoom feature, so you can just tap on that and that'll double zoom in. You can tap on it again, it'll zoom out. Or if you double tap on the screen, that will do the same thing. What's great about this 8K sensor on the Ace Pro is that when you're recording in 4K, you can double tap, zoom in 2 times, and you're not going to lose video quality. That's a big difference from the other action cameras that zoom in digitally, which in my books, I always recommend that people don't use touch zoom too often because you're going to see a lower image quality. But with the Ace Pro, that's not an issue. And this little icon shows the field of view that you're currently using. We're currently in video mode. If you swipe between the different modes, you can see there's a lot of modes on this camera. You've got free frame video, which can be used to reframe your shots after you record. So if you want to record a vertical video and you also want to use the same video in a horizontal aspect ratio, this is the mode to do that because it allows you to reframe those shots. Plus it's got 360 horizon lock if you want to lock that horizon in 4K. Horizon lock just means when you rotate your camera all the way around in a full 360, you can lock that horizon. Then you've got pure video mode. That's the night video mode for recording those low light shots. And it's gonna make a huge difference in your night shots. So when you're recording at night, you wanna use pure video mode. And you can see from this example here that the image quality is really amazing. You don't have very many stabilization, jitters. It's really just an improved low light video mode that you're gonna love when you're out there recording at night. And I know there's a lot of settings here, so if you're just getting started, don't worry, you can just start with video mode. But I've got all the settings for these different modes in my book. Once you want to explore the wide range of settings, it's all there for you as an easy reference. Then you've got time shift, which you can use to make hyperlapses, which allows you to move your camera around as you're recording, but you're gonna get those sped up time-lapse effects, which makes a really cool addition to your videos. Time shift video is a really fun mode to work with. You've also got time lapse, which is for recording those longer scenic time lapses, like of nature, for example, and that's a great mode to use for that. Loop recording is just for basically dash cam recording, and you've also got slow motion recording, which is another video mode. It's just gonna go straight into slow motion settings, but I really recommend just using the regular video mode. Star lapse is used for recording those star lapses at night, and in the Insta360 app, you can add star trails, and you can record these in 4K, which is amazing. You've also got burst photos for taking a fast burst of photos. Interval mode, which you can use for a few different things, such as recording time-lapse photos. You've also got HDR photo. The regular photo mode, which allows you to take 48 megapixel photos, which is an awesome, huge photo file. And you can do that in pure shot, or also you can just do it in raw photos and edit those in Lightroom, for example, to get the most colors out of your photos. Now I'm just gonna go back into video mode and look at some of the different settings that are available here on the Ace Pro. The first batch of settings is here where you tap on 4K 60. That's gonna give you the main settings for this camera. You've got the different stabilization options, such as low, standard, and high. Then you've also got 4K, 2.7K, and 1080 resolution. You've also got 8K at 24 frames per second, which isn't showing here, but it will be in the firmware that you guys are looking at. And in 4K, you can film up to 120 frames per second for super slow motion shots, which is really gonna capture that action, all the way down to 24 frames per second. And also you'll see here when you switch from 48 down to 30, now you see this little icon here, it shows HDR. The Ace Pro records active HDR, which is when you're in 30 frames per second or lower. And active HDR is gonna just create a more balanced shot in those bright and dark areas. But I'm just gonna go back over to 4K 60 because that's a nice video resolution to start with. You can get nice slow motion, it still has all the features available, and you'll just get some high resolution, great videos using that setting. And then swipe down from the top of the screen to go back to the recording screen. Now if you want to change some of the other settings, you swipe over from here, and you've got auto or manual settings. And under the auto, you've got a different color profile, some other settings. I'm not going to go into all these because I don't want to overwhelm you guys, but those of you who know what you're looking at can see what you've got here. You've got a shutter setting, ISO, white balance, and different color profiles. But for now, when you're just getting started, just leave it on auto and go back into the recording screen. If you want to change the field of view, you can just tap here, and you'll see the different field of views are available. These are going to change a little bit depending on which settings you're using. For example, in 4K at 120 frames per second, for those really slow motion shots, you're not going to have so many options available. But in 4K 60, which is what I have it set to now, you've got action, which is a super wide angle lens. You've got ultra, it's a little bit tighter. Then you've got dewarp, which is kind of reducing that fisheye effect. And then you've got horizon lock, which is going to level out that horizon even when your camera rotates slightly. It's not a full 360 horizon lock here on the Ace Pro unless you're using free frame video mode. Then once you've selected your settings and you're ready to start recording a video or take a photo, you can just press the top shutter button here and the camera will start recording. What's really cool about the Ace Pro too is it has this pause feature. A lot of people have asked about this in my other videos and none of the other action cameras have it. But here on the Ace Pro, you can press the pause button while you're recording. It's going to stop this video. Now you can move locations and go record another video. And when you want to start recording again, press the shutter button again and it'll continue recording on that same video file. Then once you're done recording, you just press the little stop button here and you can stop that video file. You can actually go into the videos after the fact too and add more videos to it just by tapping on this icon and it's going to allow you to continue recording on that same video. So if you recorded a shot, for example, and then you're recording other clips in between, later you can go back to that video and continue recording on that same clip. It just kind of opens up the option to create a multiple scene video all in one file, which is going to reduce the amount of editing you need to do. Also, here's another really important tip for the Ace Pro when you're recording your videos. So to start recording, you just press the top shutter button and the video will start recording. Now you've got two options here. If you don't like what you recorded, you can actually hold down on the shutter button and it'll erase this current video file that you're recording. So if you hold down the shutter button here, and when the full circle gets all the way around, it's gonna just cancel that video that you just recorded. This is a great feature when you wanna get rid of those videos, like you didn't capture something you wanted in that shot. But when you wanna stop recording, it can also get a little confusing. When you wanna actually stop recording, just make sure you do a quick press instead of a long press. Because this has happened to me quite a few times with this camera, where I press down on this a little too long. It thinks I wanna cancel the recording, but it doesn't cancel recording. It continues recording and I think I've stopped. So just make sure when you're finished recording, you just do a quick press and it'll stop recording and save that file. Also, if you want to record vertical video, you can do that just by rotating the camera. So now when you swipe down from the top of the screen here, you've got this dashboard like I showed you briefly before. This has a bunch of different icons that are going to give you some more controls on this smart camera. I'm not going to show you all these because there's quite a few here, you'll see, but I'm going to show you some of the main important ones that are new on this Ace Pro. One of the features here is the gesture control. So if you just swipe down to the dashboard here and make sure this is turned blue, this is the gesture control icon here. Now if you go into the frame and hold your hand up, the video will start recording. Just go like this. The video is going to start recording. Now you don't want to hold your hand up again until you want to stop recording, because that's going to stop recording. But once you're done, you can just hold your hand up again and it will do that. So you just go. Now the video stopped recording. And if you want to take a photo in a crowd, you can just go like this. And the camera will count down timer and take a photo. So that's really convenient if you're in a crowd or somewhere that's noisy and you don't want to have to tell your camera to start recording. You can just use gesture control. Another new feature on the Ace Pro is this AI Highlights Assistant here. So if you tap on that, it's actually going to go in your videos and find highlights of moments that it thinks is key moments in your video. That AI Highlights is going to add a little marker to your video so you can actually edit some of your videos straight in the camera. Also, if you swipe over here, you can connect your camera with Bluetooth. Now the Ace Pro is actually compatible with an Apple Watch and Garmin devices. So this will allow you to overlay your stats right on your Ace Pro. And that's a pretty amazing feature for those of you who are into like your health stats, for example. You can sync that with your camera. Under this icon here are some of the more general camera settings that you're probably used to if you've ever used an action camera before. But if not, I just want to show you right down here to format your microSD card after you've offloaded your footage. You just tap here and you can format your SD card. That's just going to erase all the files and give you space on your SD card to go record more. You can always exit out of these menus too just by pressing the power button on the side of the camera here. That's going to take you straight back into the recording screen. And then of course, when you're finished recording, you can just go over here. You can also scroll through your different videos you recorded. You can long press if you want to speed it up to fast forward through there. And then you can tap this if you want to add highlights. So you can see here on the video, I've actually got two highlights in this. If you tap on that, you can see the different highlights. I've got one that's 6 seconds, one that's 2 seconds. And if you tap on the check mark here, you can actually export those individual highlights as a separate video clip. So you don't have to scroll through the long video to find what you want to see. And you can create a separate different video file. It's not going to erase that original video file, it's just going to create another one for you. It does take a little while for those little videos to process, and your camera's kind of on hold while it's processing those. So you don't want to do that when you're out in the middle of recording, but when you're back at home and you want to create those highlights, that's a great time to do it. When you're finished using the camera, just hold down on the power button here and your camera will power off. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay tuned for more videos about the Ace Pro and all of the other great action cameras that I love to teach you about. You can also use the Insta360 app to see a live view through your camera's lens and to change the key settings on the Ace Pro. All you need to do to connect to the Insta360 app is make sure that your camera is powered on. Then open up the Insta360 app. Then when you tap on the little icon here, it's going to prompt you to connect the camera. Once the camera is connected, you can see a live view through your camera's lens. You can also switch between all the modes by just swiping down here at the bottom of the screen. You can also change some of the key settings by tapping on the settings icon here. You've got some more settings up here. You can tap on all of these icons to change some of the settings. Basically, all the settings that you can change inside your camera are available here on the app. And once you want to start recording, just tap on the record button. You can see a live preview as the video records. And when you're done recording, just go ahead and tap the screen and that file is going to be saved onto your camera's microSD card. You don't have to use the app with the Insta360 Ace Pro, but it's just a great extra tool you can use to get that live view and to change your settings remotely. Next, I want to talk to you about mounting the Ace Pro and some of the cool tools that you can use to mount the Ace Pro to capture those unique shots. Mounting your action camera is one of the ways that you can capture those truly unique angles that you can't really capture with any other camera. So I'm going to show you some mounting tips and tricks for the Ace Pro. The Ace Pro comes with two simple mounting pieces. You have this here, which is an adhesive mount, and this adhesive mount is flexible. It's got a sticky part on the bottom here, so when you peel that off, you can adhere it to a smooth surface, and that just gives you a permanent mounting location for the Ace Pro. The adhesive mount is more of a permanent location, so every different spot where you want to place a mount, you just get another adhesive mount, stick it on there, and you can switch easily between those different angles to capture different shots. The other mounting piece that comes with the Ace Pro is this quick release mount here. And this is really convenient because it allows you to switch your camera between different mounts very easily. To use this little quick release buckle, you just slide it into a mount that's like this, that's got the 3 prongs. Slide it in there and slide in a thumb screw to tighten it in place. Screw in that thumb screw, and then you've got your quick release buckle attached to a mount. If you look closely at the front of this here, there's a little icon of a camera, and that just means that the front of the camera should line up with the side of the mount. And that's just because of the magnet inside here and inside the camera. It's going to allow it to align easily. Then just take the Ace Pro and make sure that these little grooves on the bottom here just line up with that. It's going to snap right into place. Make sure you push it down really hard and you'll hear it click, and you also need to wiggle it just to make sure it's on there securely. Once it is on there securely, it's a really nice secure position that it would be really hard to accidentally knock it off because of the way these are designed. To take it off, you just squeeze the top of those, pull it off, and your camera is ready to place on another mount. Insta360 also makes another quick release adapter, and that's this one here. And this one has a lock on it. It's got also a tripod screw on the bottom of it. So if you want to mount your camera onto the end of one of Insta360's poles, for example, this has the mount to do that. It just works the same way though. You just line up the front of the camera with the little lock symbol here. Then you can just slide over this little lock symbol. That'll lock the camera on there, so even if these get hit, it won't come off of this mount. The Ace Pro is waterproof to 10 meters or 33 feet deep. But if you're going deeper than that, you can put it in the dive case, and then you can go down to 196 feet deep if you're scuba diving, for example. But for the most part, I just go in the water with it just like this. If you are worried about getting sand and stuff in between this flip screen, you can see this little wet here. I went swimming with it today. You can put it in that dive case, even for shallower dives. But you'll see some water kind of tends to store on the back of this, so you just want to make sure you dry it off really well after you go swimming. Also, it's really important to know that the Ace Pro doesn't float. So if you're taking your camera in the water, the best way to make sure that your camera floats is to use the float guard, which is made by Insta360. You can also use a floating handle, but because the Ace Pro is a bit heavier than some of the other action cameras, not all of the handles will float it. I'll put a link to a handle that will float the Ace Pro in the video description below, so you can pick that up if you want to. There are so many fun and creative mounts. You can do a lot with the Ace Pro, whether you want to wear it on your chest or put it onto an extension like this. This is a boom. That's just going to extend it out away from the surface of what you're filming. And you'll definitely want to get some kind of extendable handle like this one, so you can just extend it out, get the camera further away from you for those fun selfie shots. I'll put links for all of these mounts in the video description below, so that if you want to pick up any of these mounts that you see here, you can. Now that you know some of the most important tips for the Insta360 Ace Pro, go out there and record some videos, take some photos, come back and I'll show you some of the cool features on the Insta360 app and Insta360 Studio for transferring and editing. If you're editing your footage on a phone or a tablet, you can use the Insta360 app like I showed you before. And the Insta360 app has some great tools for editing your Ace Pro footage. Just make sure your camera is powered on again, and you can either press this icon down here or you can press on the album, and then make sure that it says Ace Pro. If you tap on Ace Pro and it's not connected, it'll prompt you to connect. And once your camera is connected, you can see the thumbnails of all the footage that's on your camera's microSD card. Once you see one that you want to open, you can just tap on it and it'll go into that video file. So you've got a bunch of tools down here that you can use to trim your videos. You can add some stats and change the colors. The stats is if you use an Apple Watch or a Garmin device and you have stats from that you can onload onto your videos here. You can also add some music, adjust the audio volume, and adjust the speed of your clips, for example. So there's a lot of little tools here right in the Insta360 app to help you improve your videos. Once you've made some edits, you can export it and save it to your phone's photo library. But one of the most important things here is the download. If you want to download the files to your phone or your tablet, just tap on that. and it's going to start downloading. And what's great about the Ace Pro now is that you can do background app downloading. So if you want to close the app, it's still going to keep downloading in the background, and it'll let you know when the file is finished downloading. So you don't have to stay in there and wait for all of your files to download. If you go back into your thumbnails here, you can see which one's downloading. It'll show you a little progress, but it'll also notify you if you're out of the Insta360 app when your file is done downloading. Another feature that some of you might be interested in, if you go in the Edit tab down here on the app, it's going to give you some different options here. And these are the different shot labs, it's called. So it's basically adding special effects to your videos. And this is a new one called AI Warp. So if you take a short 4 to 10 second clip of video, it's going to add these effects to it. And there's different styles you can add. And you just select the little section you want it to apply to. It does take a while to send it to the AI cloud to create this, but you can test it out and see what you like. I've had mixed effects with it. That's up to you, just check it out. It's one of their new features. To transfer your videos and photos over to a computer, you can just take the USB cable, plug it into your computer and power your camera on, and you can transfer the files from the remote disk that'll show up on your computer. Just drag them over, put them in a file, and then you can edit them on a desktop or a laptop computer. If you're on a computer, you can use Insta360 Studio to pre-edit your clips if you want to. You don't have to. You could bring them straight into Premiere or DaVinci Resolve like I show in my books. But if you want to do some pre-editing, like add time shift videos or some motion blur, you can do that inside of Insta360 Studio. But definitely the way you're going to get the best quality edits out of your video footage, especially with the Ace Pro because it's got this high resolution and high frame rates, is to edit it on a computer and get that super slow motion, high quality footage out of there. One of my favorite things about photography and cinematography is that you can really freeze a moment in time, and the moment that you choose to capture is really up to you. I just love that people have such different visions, whether it's of nature, of a city, of other people, and what they see in their camera through their lens is what they can show to other people. I hope that you love photography as much as I do, and if you do, please check out the book for the Ace Pro, because I would love to teach you what I know and just all of the knowledge that I've learned about this action camera to help you get amazing shots and capture the moments that you really think are special. If you want to pick up a camera, there's a link in the video description below. Stay tuned for more videos, and I'll see you guys next time.